Be you. If you were able to accomplish that goal, you would have everything you ever wanted in your life. You would have the career, the love, all the prosperity, abundance. You would have all of that if you could be you. And I have everything you need that would cause you to accomplish that goal. And the only difficulty will be you won't believe me. I didn't believe me either. You know, we have this thing that happens in our lives that we have to move beyond our disbelief to be able to accept who we are. I recorded an interview with Alex Ferrari on Next Level Soul. It was released last year on May 28th, and I'm going to leave a link in this video, so I'd like for you to hear it, because in there I told the entire story about what my work was, what was happening in our world, and you will hear that particular interview again, and it'll make far more sense to you. I receive information precognitively, so that's why it's different, and people hear it later. When I listened to that this morning, it was even surprising to me because Alex kept saying to me, "You answer right away. Wilhelm answers right away. You're a complete connected channel." Yeah, I've known that. In 1989, when I started doing automatic writing, it was surprising to me. All of this is in the interview, which I said to Alex. Um, and I spent 20 years hiding it. And then that process, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was creating. I didn't know I was downloading a philosophy, which I've talked about also. And I went to Gaia, as many of you know, a couple of weeks ago, and I filmed Beyond Belief with George Nuri. And so, what everyone's going to hear when that video comes out in probably a couple of months, I believe, is that I was given everything that any person could use to to manifest a great life. And it would also help change our world because I also knew what would be happening in the world and what we would be experiencing, and probably what you'll be feeling today. And when I started receiving this information, it was connected to source, to God, to the universe. I did not know that, but you'll see that it's completely aligned. There's another thing that I did, and I put it out this year on February 19th. See, February 19th of 1989 is when I began writing Wilhelm. And then this year, they had me go back and put in all the information, all the years of every February 19th that had occurred. And then they had me do something else. If you look up February 19th on and ask what happened, you will see there are a string of events that throughout history that occurred on that date. I didn't know that. I was accessing information that I didn't know, but I was accessing cosmic guidance. And what has happened since that time, this information healed my life, transformed my life to ways that people couldn't even understand. And it's doing the same for others. But the only problem is we all have cognitive dissonance, meaning we can be presented with something and look at it and say, no, it's not possible. I haven't done that before, so it couldn't possibly happen. I did that too. It was bizarre. I talked about it in the interview, and you will see that. I also said that, talked about some of that on George Nuri. But see, these things are probably out there. If you go back to any of my Wilhelm channeling sessions, you'll probably hear all of that. Accepting it is different, though. Self acceptance is our difficulty, and it was for me. And then I was told that I was given certain information that on particular days, the date, it would make sense because that's how connected I was. That's how connected I was to the universe. And so today, there was a wonderful message that will help you understand this also. It is this. All you are ever attempting to become while you are on your physical life journey is you. The irony of this is that many souls do not truly know this until they leave physical form. When you attempt to know this while on your particular path, the journey is much more fulfilling and rewarding to you. You may use examples of or emulate others as motivation or inspiration, but the end goal is merely to be the authentic and real you. You experience difficulty with this premise when you begin to believe that one particular soul is more important than the other. You are all the same. See, I was told that was the information that I was meant to bring into this world during this time because we would be moving through this big transition. All of that's in that Alex interview. And if you might have seen it, but if you go back and listen now, it'll make even more sense. And I was actually surprised too because he was correct. I don't go back and look at my interviews. I don't remember them. When I receive information, I'm not conscious of it. And that happened during that interview. The same thing happened when I did the interview with George Nuri because he asked me to channel a little bit as well, and that's what I did. And he said the energy in the room changed after that, and that does happen. I conduct energy and I can do all sorts of things. I couldn't understand how I could accomplish this, however. I have a string of things that I've moved through in my life that are just kind of unbelievable. But that's why I'm going to be telling the entire story because I need all people to know what is possible and we can transcend absolutely anything. I didn't know I was going to be a prophet or a mystic or a say none of that stuff. There was never what I was set out to do. I was doing everything else. I was running businesses. I was doing a completely another business. I was performing all of those things. This I kept hidden. I kept secret because they're not going to understand. And I understand now because when I was a kid, I would receive information, but it didn't make sense to me, and especially to my parents. They would say something, and I would say, "Well, no, that wasn't really what happened," or "You did this," and we would have these disagreements. But it was very clear of what I was receiving. And when you listen to that interview, you'll see it there as well. But the problem was I couldn't become me. I couldn't own me because what happens is we fear judgment. Then we just don't believe that we could possibly do that. I didn't know what I was creating, what I was accumulating, but you don't know it either. See, what I was given was a way for people to extract what they have within them. And it's already been proven. And you've probably heard it because you've seen people who have used this information and you've seen that they've changed. But you will sit and think, no, I can't do that. Or you'll listen to me and it's like, nope, that doesn't make sense. Because when I speak, I hit every single limitation that exists in you and also in the world. Because I knew how the world could change. I could see all of that stuff. But I also knew that not enough people would do it. See, we're changing the energy. When we change the energy within ourselves, we start to heal. And these are things that people can't explain. Last week or 2 weeks ago, my doctor kept asking me, I'm 73, by the way, so I just want you to understand this. And he kept saying, why, what's happening? Why are you having these really great results at this age? That's what happens when you start to embody yourself. It's a process. You can call it ascension, self-actualization, whatever it is. All the things that you've heard what are possible, I'm telling you they are. I could not have lived through every tragedy and difficulty and all that unless it was for a purpose. But I'm saying that's for everyone too. When we figure out who we are and own our authentic selves, we live very different lives. But what I'm doing now, because in a couple as this information is going to come out and I'm going to be exposed to so many more. If you look at my YouTube channel, you will see I have very few views on my channel. And that's been on purpose. This introverted person, I talked about that too, did not want to be out there, but now it's going to be out there for thousands. And so I'm dealing with how can I get this all together now? Because two things have happened. I have not serviced the people who are in the program right now because I stopped at a certain point. It was overwhelming. I talked about that too. But now I have to finish it because I'm going to have all of these other folks who are going to come in and see this. And I know they're going to want it. And I have to be together. And what I've also done is I screwed up so much. When you can't embody yourself, you will go broke. You will be unhappy. You'll be depressed. All sorts of things happen. And that's what I was doing to myself. And I've done it for 4 years. And you'll hear in the interview, because I knew in 2016 what was going to happen. But in 2020, it became very, very clear. But I just thought, I can't do this yet. That's what went on. You probably have done that too. But now is the time when we can move beyond that. And when you become you, You will have everything that you want. You will move through your generational trauma because that's what we all have. And when we move through that individually, we do that, move through it in the world also. But convincing you of that, I can't do. I'm just showing you this is what's available. And so, what I said too, because I've got to get on with working on this other stuff. So, I'm only taking 10 people. And I know people look at this and go, well, I'm not sure. That's what happens. But in these next couple of days, I'm only taking 10 people because I have to change. I've been talking about this forever and I need to get more work done. And so continually trying to explain this work has been challenging. But if you listen, I'm going to put the link to Alex's video. If you haven't seen it, please listen to it because all the information that Wilhelm brought through was just pretty extraordinary. And but yeah, that's it. And so I'm going to uh, now have to figure out how I can really expand so much more because that's what you're supposed to do too. And I owe it to, and I also owe it to Alex because I still owe him money. I made him a deal. I said, I'm going to pay you a lot of money. But because I wouldn't change my rates or charge more for this, 3 years ago, people told me, Roger, you should be charging $5,000 for this. You're giving people the ability to really own themselves and understand who they are. And others are charging so much more. Why are you doing this? That was me not owning me, and you might have done that too. So, but check everything out, and I'll leave the links here. But there's no reason now for anyone not to have everything that they want and live these magnificent life because I have the way to get there. See you soon.